Imagine being handcuffed on the side of the road for driving your own car. Bright afternoon. Sun bakes the suburban strip. Lawns clipped. Sprinklers ticking. Kids on bikes roll by like nothing's wrong. A navy blazer. A silver Mercedes. New. Polished. Plates clean. Alicia Monroe drives like she owns the day, which she does. Quiet hands on the wheel. Focused eyes. Breath even. 2 police cars appear behind her. Fast. Insistent. They close the gap like a strike. Brake lights flare. She signals and pulls over. Calm. Routine. A click of seatbelt. A song on the radio, soft, then cut. A uniform approaches. Tall. Mouth like a coin. Badge bright. Officer Bradley. Smirk pre-installed. He leans down to the window. He smells the expensive leather before he sees the nameplate. License and registration, he says. The tone is small and heavy, condescending like a verdict. She reaches. Calm. Of course. Her hand is steady. She slides the documents out. Her name on the license. Her title on the ID. Not that it matters, he already has a story. Bradley reads the plate. He squints at the sticker. He taps his radio. This vehicle was reported stolen this morning, he says, like he's delivering proof. Alicia blinks. That's impossible. It's mine. Her voice is low, firm. You can run the plates. Bradley snorts. Right. And I'm the Queen of England. He leans closer than the law allows. Close enough to see the tiny lines etched at the corner of her eye. He opens the door. No permission. No warrant. A clear violation, but small things like that don't register when a man decides a story suits him. She stays seated, hands where he can see them. She does not reach for the phone. She does not raise her voice. You fit the description, he says, smiling with his jaw. Professional woman. Luxury car. Stolen tag. Sounds about right. A hand on her shoulder. The force is casual. He grips like he owns it. Alicia is careful with her next words. You're making a mistake, she says. Nothing dramatic. No plea. Just a fact, spoken like an instruction. He laughs. Another officer lifts a body cam and points it like a judge's gavel. Someone records with a phone in the crowd. 2 neighbors watch from a driveway, frozen. A child stares from behind a fence. Mouth open, toy truck forgotten. Bradley clicks the cuffs out with practiced hands. Metal flashes, cold against her wrist. He snaps them too tight. Her hands flare red where the steel bites. Don't resist, he says. He pats her down with a thumb that lingers on the silk of her blouse, the gold of a watch. He pulls the LinkedIn photo from her ID and holds it up to the sun like proof of a scam. Chief Legal Counsel, huh? He says, reading aloud and mocking. Sure thing. Passers-by murmur. A woman crossing the street stops and stares. Someone whispers, "Is that?" Another says, "She must be lying." Alicia's face is a study in control. She closes her eyes for a fraction, breathes. She doesn't argue. She knows the camera is on. She knows the law. Silence can be a slow weapon. You're under arrest for possession of stolen property, Bradley declares, voice theatrical. He signs the arrest report himself. He writes neat letters. Confidence. Final. They lead her to the cruiser. The click of the door sinks to the narrator's heartbeat. The radio chatter is a static symphony. Bradley stands at the rear and watches the license plate as if memorizing a story he's already written. Inside the cruiser, the world tightens. Headliner. Leather. The scent of cheap air freshener tries to compete with the diesel and the brass of the badge. A camera on his chest records every inch like it's proof for him and the world. Alicia's phone is taken. Her bag is seized and slotted into evidence. Her keys slide out of her hand and fall to the floor. Bradley laughs with a fellow officer. It's too loud. Like a party. Like a verdict celebration. They drive to the precinct. The cruiser moves through the neighborhood like an execution parade. People look up. The kid on the porch pretends not to see. A jogger slows and stares. The windows of a coffee shop turn to mirrors reflecting the scene. At the precinct steps, Bradley pushes her forward. Handcuffs bite again. A desk sergeant watches from the doorway, eyebrows knit. He's older. He's seen 1,000 stories. He says nothing loud, just a low, cautious, "You might want to verify her record before this gets ugly." Bradley tosses the words back like a coin. "Nah, paperwork's done. We'll sort it out later." He's satisfied. The thrill of power is a drug. He inhales it. Inside, laughter echoes. Officers cluster like vultures. Someone pulls up her LinkedIn on a computer monitor. Someone posts a leering comment. The room smells of stale coffee and old authority. They handcuff her to the bench while they process. She sits straight. The cuffs are a little loose now, but the message is the same. She is contained. Her dignity is not. "Chief Legal Counsel," an officer says, loud enough for everyone. He grins. He thinks it's a joke. One officer, younger, quieter, pauses. He looks at her ID, then at his hands. He looks like he wants to say something. He closes his mouth again. Alicia watches Bradley. She watches the way he moves. How he signs the forms. How he forgets the small things that matter. She knows the procedure. She'll remember his signature. She'll remember the badge number. She doesn't need to speak to build a case. Her silence files itself away like evidence. They confiscate her belongings. Her phone. Her bag. Her wallet. Her ID. They flip through her cards like playing cards. They laugh at her hobbies. They read her education like a comedy skit. "Marketing degree," someone reads, and a ripple of derisive chuckles passes through the room. Someone mutters, "Scammers these days." Bradley barks a laugh. Alicia's thoughts flick, not to anger, not to fear, but to calculation. Each sneer is data. Each mock is a stamp. She takes mental pictures, names, voices, smells, times. He will sign his name on paper that says he did the right thing. "You'll regret that signature," she says. It's soft. A promise, not a threat. The room barely notices. Bradley looks up. For a beat, his throat tightens. A crack appears in his composure. He shrugs it away. "We'll see," he says. Processing takes hours. A cup of terrible vending machine coffee. Forms. Fingerprints. Paperwork that smells like bureaucracy and arrogance. Officers move like they have all the time in the world. Her hands swell in the cuffs. Bruises bloom. People come in and out. An officer jokes about how someone like her must have pulled one over on an old man somewhere. Another posts a short video on his phone, smirking. Alicia sits. The room hums. A clock ticks like a metronome. Her eyes trace the clock hands. Time doesn't feel like it belongs to her. It belongs to them now. Outside, the afternoon begins to lean toward evening. Shadows grow teeth. The precinct lights move from cold white to harsh fluorescent. The world narrows to a small room, a bench, a woman in cuffs. A junior officer finally looks up his badge number and plate. He runs the lookup. The screen hums. The result pops. Her name. Her vehicle registration. Her photo. Clear as an invoice. He clears his throat. Bradley. You might want to look at this." Bradley glances. He sees his report. He sees the arrest signature. He sees the forms. He has already filed them. His jaw tightens. Alicia watches him. Her silence expands. It is no longer submitted. It is a quiet that gathers strength. Bradley steps back from the monitor. His face loses color. He makes a small, animal sound, half anger, half fear. The room tilts. Conversation drops. The laughter dies like a candle smothered. He had made a theater of power. Now the audience is gone. Evidence crowds him. Paper says one thing. Reality whispers another. Alicia remains seated, cuffs on, eyes steady. Her mouth is a thin line. She looks at Bradley with a patience that is patient for justice, not for apology. The precinct feels smaller now. The lights are too bright. The clock is too loud. The desk sergeant clears his throat and makes a phone call. "We need to call internal affairs," he says, voice careful. Bradley's shoulders tighten. He glances at Alicia. For the first time, the smirk is gone. Outside, a siren wails in the distance. It might be another call, or it might be the sound of a story turning. The camera pans on Alicia's wrists. The metal glints. "You were wrong," she says, not loud, but to the point. Not for him. For what comes next. A door opens. Footsteps approach. The precinct door swings. Subscribe and share if you believe in the truth. The precinct hums like a broken machine. Phones ring. Keyboards click. Officers laugh from corners they think justice can't reach. But inside the noise, Alicia sits on the metal bench, still cuffed, still silent, her presence shifting the air molecule by molecule. Bradley stands at the computer. Frozen. Pale. He stares at the screen like it's sentencing him. The desk sergeant clears his throat again. A heavy, knowing sound. "You didn't verify anything before processing her?" The sergeant asks quietly. Bradley tries to swallow his pride. It sticks. I got a call about a stolen Mercedes. I followed protocol." His voice cracks on the word protocol. "Protocol doesn't include profiling," the sergeant murmurs. The junior officer, the one who ran the database check, watches them, guilt eating through him. "You should, see the rest of the file," he says. Bradley clicks. Another screen loads. Chief Legal Counsel, Special Investigations Division, Internal Review Board, Department Authority Level, Maximum Clearance. The room stiffens. The laughter that once filled the air like bad perfume disappears. Officers shift. Some look away. Some whisper. Alicia lifts her eyes for the first time. No smile. No anger. Just recognition of the shift. The moment a predator realizes he stepped into his own trap. Close-up of Bradley snapping cuffs too tight. His smirk. Her flinch. Her steady voice. "You're making a mistake." This footage is about to be reviewed by her office. Bradley steps back from the monitor. His breathing grows shallow. "She didn't tell me," he mutters. "She didn't tell me who she was." The sergeant's stare cuts like a verdict. "She didn't have to." Officers try to quietly erase their earlier laughter, but guilt stains the air. One officer shuts off his phone, the same one that recorded jokes about her LinkedIn photo. Another minimizes a meme he was making. A third removes a coffee cup from the top of her confiscated bag. It's too late. Everything is too late. Alicia speaks, finally breaking her silence. "Uncuff me." Not a plea. Not a question. A command delivered with quiet precision. Bradley hesitates. His hand hovers over the key. It shakes. The sergeant steps forward. "I'll do it." Click. The metal opens. Her wrists fall free, red and bruised. Alicia rubs them gently. The room watches her movements like they're watching evidence being logged. A junior officer whispers to his partner, "We're done for." The sergeant dials a number. The ringtone is soft. Someone picks up. "Internal Affairs, this is Supervisor Daniels." The sergeant stands straight. "We have a situation. A high-level counsel has been wrongfully arrested. False report. Unlawful detainment. Body cam violations." Silence on the other end. Then, "Name." The sergeant answers like announcing royalty. Alicia Monroe. A beat. Hold her there. We're coming. The voice is low. Final. Bradley hears it. His knees weaken. He whispers, "This can't be happening." Alicia turns her head slightly, not enough to give satisfaction, but enough to acknowledge the collapse beginning. "You signed your name," she reminds him quietly. "Signature carries responsibility." If you're watching this, remember, some stories don't need violence to break the system. Sometimes, silence is the loudest evidence. Subscribe and share for more real stories that expose corruption. Keep watching. Two internal affairs officers enter the precinct. Black suits, blank faces, clipboards at the ready. The room goes dead silent. One steps forward. "Who is Officer Bradley?" Bradley raises a shaky hand. The IA officer doesn't look at him, only at the arrest paperwork. "You filed this?" "Yes, sir." "You did not run her plates?" "No, sir." "You searched her without consent?" Bradley doesn't answer. The officer flips a page. "You cuffed her with excessive force." Another flip. "You mocked her ID." Another. "You processed her without verification." Another. "You filed the arrest knowing you had insufficient probable cause." The pages stop. The officer stares up, eyes sharp, cold. "You understand who she is?" Bradley nods weakly. "I do now." Alicia stands, calm, tall, poised. No need to shout. No need to point. Her silence drags the room into gravity. The IA officer steps aside. "Ms. Monroe, would you like to speak before we escort you home?" Every officer looks at her, waiting, expecting anger, explosions, demands, rage. But Alicia is not rage. She is consequence dressed in a navy blazer. She steps forward, her voice steady, controlled. "There's nothing I need to say here. Everything I needed was recorded." Bradley flinches. The room exhales, collectively, painfully. The walk back through the precinct is a reversal of humiliation. The same officers who smirked now avoid her eyes. The same officers who mocked her ID now straighten their uniforms. One whispers, "I'm sorry." Another shifts away in shame. A third looks like he wants to disappear. Alicia stops briefly, turns, addresses the room. "Never forget, the badge is a responsibility, not a weapon." She steps outside. Air hits her face. Freedom tastes sharp. IA escorts her to a black car. They open the door for her, and she entered. Tomorrow morning, the real story begins. Because justice doesn't move fast, but when it moves, it crushes anything in its path. Morning rises like an accusation. Sunlight slides across the city, cold and sharp. A new day, but the precinct still carries last night's shame like a stain no one can wash out. Officer Bradley wakes with sweat on his neck. Remembers the cuffs. Remembers the database screen. Remembers that sick drop in his stomach when he realized who she was. He dresses slowly, badge stiff in his hand. He clips it on like a weight. He whispers, "She won't ruin my career, she can't." But the mirror doesn't believe him. Alicia Monroe stands in her apartment, fastening the button on a tailored black suit. No bruises visible. No pain shown. No fear expressed. Today is not about revenge. It's about precision. She picks up a folder, thick, labeled, prepared. Then her phone buzzes. Internal Affairs, your presence is requested for the disciplinary review and the preliminary hearing. Court begins at 9 a.m. Alicia nods. She already knew. She helped write the policies. She slides her glasses into her bag, picks up her keys, steps out with the quiet confidence of someone about to rewrite an entire department's heartbeat. People bustle. Papers shuffle. Shoes echo. The building feels alive, tense, watching, listening. Bradley enters, his shoulders stiff, his chin forced high, his confidence an act. Other officers greet him. "You okay, man? What happened yesterday? You look like you haven't slept." Bradley waves them off. He says, "It's nothing, just a misunderstanding." But his eyes dart, anxious. He knows the truth is waiting behind a door, wearing a black suit. He walks down the hallway. Every step echoes. He turns a corner and sees her, Alicia Monroe, standing tall, calm, reviewing a stack of documents beside the courtroom door. He freezes. The hallway shrinks. Air thins. She doesn't look angry. She doesn't look vindictive. She simply looks in control. He realizes this, and his chest tightens. She wasn't quiet yesterday because she was scared. She was quiet because she was planning. A judge steps out of chambers. A bailiff approaches. The scene shifts. Alicia finally turns toward Bradley. Their eyes meet. No words. No expression. Just truth. He feels his authority collapse. Clean wood. Bright lights. A place where lies come to die. Alicia sits at the front, not in the defendant's seat, not in the witness row, but beside the judge's bench. Her rightful place. A placard reads, "Chief Legal Counsel, Internal Review Board." Bradley goes pale. The judge enters. All rise. Everyone stands. Bradley stumbles to his feet. Alicia remains steady. The judge sits. "Be seated." Papers shuffle. The judge glances at the room. Today we address an incident involving Officer Jonathan Bradley regarding unlawful detainment, excessive force, and false arrest. Bradley's forehead beads with sweat. The judge continues. All evidence has been submitted by the Internal Review Board, led by Chief Counsel Alicia Monroe. The courtroom gasps. Whispers spread like wildfire. Bradley feels the world tilt. He whispers, "No, no, no, no." Alicia stands. Her presence alone silences the room. She speaks with calm authority. "Your Honor, yesterday, I was unlawfully detained by an officer who failed to follow basic protocol. I was cuffed, searched, mocked, and processed without verification." She turns her head slightly toward Bradley, not fully, just enough to acknowledge the man who signed the report. This case is not about ego, not about job titles, not about status. Alicia looks back to the judge. It's about what happens when authority is used like a weapon instead of a responsibility. Bradley tries to interject. "Your Honor, The judge raises a hand. "Officer, you will speak when addressed." The courtroom stiffens. Alicia continues, steady as law itself. The badge is meant to protect the public, not profile them, not humiliate them, not target them. Her voice sharpens, quietly, lethally. "Yesterday, Officer Bradley did all three." Dead silence. The judge looks at Bradley. "Officer, do you have anything to say in your defense?" Bradley rises, voice trembling. I didn't know who she was." Alicia turns her head fully this time. It is not anger that fills her eyes. It is disappointment wrapped in professionalism. That's the point. The words hit harder than any shout. You shouldn't have to know who someone is to treat them with respect. The courtroom absorbs that line. Every officer in attendance shifts uncomfortably. Bradley sits down, defeated, small. If you're still watching, remember this: real justice doesn't need revenge. It just needs truth. Subscribe and share for more stories of accountability, courage, and the moments that turn a system upside down. The judge announces, "We will reconvene after reviewing all body cam footage. Additional charges may be considered." Bradley drops his head into his hands. Alicia gathers her files. Smooth, controlled, As she stands to leave, she says one final thing. Not to the judge, not to the courtroom, but directly to Bradley. This hearing isn't about punishing you. He looks up, confused. It's about protecting the people you swore to serve. Then she turns and exits. The door slams gently behind her. The courtroom reconvenes. Wooden doors slam behind the last officer entering. A nervous shuffle spreads through the room. Everyone knows what's coming. The body cam review. The judge clears his throat. We will now view Exhibit A, Officer Bradley's body camera footage from the arrest of Chief Counsel Monroe. Bradley's heart drops into his stomach. He grips the table so hard his knuckles go white. His lawyer whispers, "Stay calm." But it's already too late. Lights dim. The projector hums like an execution drum. A blue timestamp appears. 13 hours 42 minutes and 9 seconds, Suburban Street. The footage begins with the view from Bradley's chest. His hands grip the door. His boots hit the pavement. His voice, already disrespectful, spills out. License and registration. Someone in the courtroom shifts uncomfortably. The video shows Alicia's calm compliance, her steady voice, her professionalism. Then, the moment that makes the audience inhale. Bradley leaning into her window, smirking. "Right. And I'm the Queen of England." Whispers ripple through the courtroom. The next sequence hits harder. Bradley yanks the door open. Without permission. Without cause. Her voice, soft, controlled, echoes through the room. "You're making a mistake." On the footage, Bradley laughs. Loud, sharp, mocking. The judge's jaw tightens. A bailiff stands a little straighter. A reporter scribbles quickly. Then the cuffs snap. Loud, unforgiving. Metal digs into her wrist. The entire courtroom winces. Bradley on screen, "You fit the description." A woman in the back row whispers, "Wow." Someone mutters, "That's profiling." Bradley closes his eyes in real time. He knows this is the part he can't explain away. Next scene. Officers laughing at her LinkedIn photo. Pointing. Mocking her job title. Passing her ID around like gossip material. One officer on footage, "Chief Legal Counsel?" "Yeah, right." Another laughs. "These scammers will say anything." Real time in court, those same officers stare at the floor. Alicia sits still, hands folded, face unreadable. Her silence is louder than the footage. Most people break under humiliation, but some turn it into evidence. If you believe in accountability, subscribe and share. Stay with this story. On screen, the sergeant finally speaks. "You might want to verify her record before this gets ugly." Bradley's recorded voice replies with the arrogance of a man who believes he's untouchable. "I don't care who she says she is." The courtroom gasps. The judge scribbles notes. Bradley looks like he's going to be sick. The footage cuts to Alicia on the bench, bruised wrists, calm expression, hands cuffed too tight. Someone in the audience whispers, "How did she stay so calm?" Another murmurs, "That's strength." Then, the words that seal the room in ice. On screen, Alicia looks Bradley in the eye and says, "You'll regret that signature." Not a threat. A prophecy. Bradley's real-time face collapses. He hides behind his hands. Footage shows the moment the junior officer discovers the truth in the database. His whispered panic. Bradley, you might want to see this." Then Bradley's muttered, horrified, "No, no, no." His entire worldview falling apart in pixels. The footage ends. The lights rise slowly. Silence hangs heavy. Not a single cough. Not a single whisper. Just the sound of a career dying. Judge Hawkins leans forward, voice drenched in disapproval. "Officer Bradley, this footage is some of the most concerning behavior I have seen in this courtroom." Bradley swallows hard. The judge continues, "You displayed prejudice, abuse of power, bias, and a blatant disregard for protocol. A beat. And for the safety and dignity of a citizen, who is not only innocent, but a ranking official in your own department." Murmurs spread again. Shame, shock, recognition. Bradley wipes his forehead, hands shaking. The judge turns to Alicia. "Ms. Monroe, do you wish to make a statement before we determine disciplinary action?" Alicia stands. Every officer watches. Every camera turns. She looks at Bradley, but not in anger. Only truth. "I'm not here to destroy you," she begins. Her voice is steady, measured, powerful. "I am here because what you did yesterday is not an accident. It is a pattern, a culture, a system that thinks authority can replace decency." The courtroom absorbs every word. She steps closer. "If I were anyone else, if I didn't have this position, I could still be sitting in a cell." Bradley's head drops. Alicia takes a breath. Justice isn't revenge. Justice is correction. Then, with surgical precision, "And today, we correct." A long table, cold lights, officers seated like students waiting for punishment they never thought they'd face. Folders stacked, screens ready, microphones on. At the center sits Alicia Monroe, elegant, calm, unbreakable. Her presence makes the room straighten like she's gravity itself. A senior IA investigator clears his throat. "We're here to conduct the disciplinary hearing for Officer Jonathan Bradley. Charges include false arrest, excessive force, unlawful search, professional misconduct, violation of civil rights, abuse of authority." Bradley shifts in his seat. His lawyer rests a hand on his shoulder, a silent "brace yourself." Alicia opens the folder in front of her. Color-coded, tab-labeled. Nothing rushed. Everything intentional. She speaks first. "Before we begin, I want to state clearly, I did not bring this case forward because of who I am. I brought it forward because of what he did." Some officers look away. Others stare at her like she's the storm they knew would arrive one day. The desk sergeant takes the seat. Hands folded. Voice steady. "I told him to verify her identity. He ignored me." Alicia nods. "And did you express concern that the situation could escalate?" "I did." He dismissed it. Bradley clenches his jaw. The sergeant adds, "Ms. Monroe wasn't resisting, wasn't posing any threat. She was calm and compliant." The words hit like blows. Alicia writes nothing. She doesn't need to. The junior officer walks up, nervous, wringing hands. He speaks quietly. "When I ran her plates, I realized she was who she said she was." "And what did Officer Bradley do with that information?" He ignored it. He said the paperwork was already done." "And what did you feel at that moment?" Alicia asks. Shame spreads across his face. "I felt like we weren't officers anymore. We were bullies." Gasps echo around the room. Bradley sinks further into his chair. A third officer steps forward, shoulders stiff, guilt in every step. Alicia's gaze lifts. "You laughed at my ID photo, correct?" "Yes, ma'am." "You mocked my job title?" He swallows hard. "Yes." Alicia leans forward. "And why?" Because everyone else was." The room freezes. Alicia nods slowly. "Culture, not character." The officer nods. "I'm sorry, ma'am." "I believe you are," Alicia replies gently. "And I believe the culture can change, if you let it." Her ability to show grace in the middle of her own humiliation leaves the room speechless. Now it's Bradley's turn. He stands, unsteady, hands trembling. He forces himself to look at her. "Ms. Monroe." I never meant. Alicia raises a hand. This is not personal. But, sit. He sits. She continues, voice cold but fair. Intent does not erase impact. A mistake repeated is not a mistake. It is a habit, a pattern, a culture. She closes the folder. The sound is final. IA presents additional complaints filed against Bradley over the years. Stop and frisk abuses. Excessive force allegations. Profiling complaints. A pattern of demeaning language toward women and minorities. Bradley's face drains of color. His lawyer whispers, they're building a full case. Not just yesterday. Alicia doesn't smile. She doesn't gloat. She doesn't revel in it. She simply watches the truth unfold. When a system protects arrogance, truth becomes the last resort. Share this story if you believe accountability isn't optional, it's necessary. Subscribe to this channel where justice always delivers the last word. Alicia turns to Bradley. Her tone shifts, still calm, but razor sharp. Officer Bradley, tell this board why you pulled me over. He hesitates. The room watches. Waiting. His voice cracks. I assumed the car wasn't yours. Why? He stumbles over the answer. I don't know. Alicia steps closer. You assumed. You profiled. And you used authority to validate your assumption. Bradley's eyes fill with panic. I was wrong. I know that now. It's not enough to know it, Alicia replies. You must own it. He drops his head. IA's lead investigator speaks. Officer Bradley, based on the evidence and testimony, you are recommended for disciplinary action. The room holds its breath, including suspension without pay, mandatory bias training, and a final review that may result in termination. Bradley's world collapses. Some officers inhale sharply. Others nod in agreement. Alicia remains unmoved. This isn't revenge. This is correction. Before the hearing ends, the IA supervisor asks, Ms. Monroe, would you like to make a final statement? Alicia rises. She looks at every officer in the room, not accusingly, but with expectation. This department will not change because one officer is punished. Her voice echoes, strong, measured, undeniable. It will change when the culture changes, when silence stops, when accountability begins, when respect becomes standard, not selective. No one moves. No one breathes. This hearing is not the end of something. It is the beginning. A week passes. The precinct breathes differently now. Slower, quieter. Shame lingers like a shadow nobody wants to acknowledge. Whispers follow Bradley down hallways. Eyes avoid him. Doors close when he enters. The once confident officer now walks like he's balancing on broken glass. Then the envelope arrives. White. Official seal. Thin, but heavy with truth. It lands on his desk with a soft thud that echoes louder than any gavel. Bradley stares at it. The entire room watches, not openly, but from corners, behind monitors, reflected off polished gun holsters. Alicia's name is stamped at the bottom of the envelope. Chief Legal Counsel, IRB. His hands tremble as he tears it open. Inside, suspension without pay, mandatory remedial training, final review pending possible termination. His throat tightens. He reads it again, then again, like maybe the ink will rewrite itself. It doesn't. He is instructed to report to conference room 4B. The walk feels like a march toward a truth he never wanted to face. He opens the door, and she is there. Alicia Monroe. Not angry, not triumphant, not vengeful, just composed. A symbol of everything he failed to be. She sits at the head of the table, a single folder in front of her. Her posture straight, her expression unreadable. "Have a seat, Officer Bradley." He lowers himself into the chair. His uniform feels too heavy. His badge burns against his chest. Alicia opens the file slowly. Bradley's heartbeat pounds loud enough to hear. She begins. "This is your formal disciplinary meeting. You may speak today, but understand, the decision has already been made." He nods, voice thin. "Yes, ma'am." Alicia folds her hands. "Before I go further, I want to make something clear. I'm not here to humiliate you." Bradley exhales, surprised. "I'm here to ensure you understand the impact of your choices." She slides a paper toward him, the body cam transcript. Line by line, word by word. Every insult, every assumption, every moment of disrespect. Bradley reads it. Shame floods his face. "It looks different when you're not holding the badge, doesn't it?" Alicia asks quietly. He nods, eyes wet. "I'm sorry," he whispers. "For everything." Alicia studies him for a moment. Then, "I believe you." The room stills. "But apology doesn't erase damage," she continues. "It doesn't undo humiliation, or profiling, or fear." Bradley wipes his eyes. I know. I messed up. I don't even know why I acted like that." Alicia leans forward. "Because the culture allowed you to." He freezes. Her voice sharpens, not in anger, but in absolute truth. "You didn't act alone, Officer Bradley. You acted with the confidence of someone who believed the system would protect him." He flinches. Because he knows she's right. "I'm not here to ruin you," she says. "I'm here to make sure you understand what the badge really stands for." He meets her eyes. "What happens next?" he asks, voice shaking. Alicia closes the folder. Her tone softens. "Next, you learn." He doesn't know if that is mercy or punishment. Maybe it's both. Alicia recites the official decision. Officer Jonathan Bradley is suspended without pay for 60 days. He is required to complete mandatory training in bias and cultural competency, civil rights law, proper use of force, community partnership. Failure to pass will result in termination. Bradley nods, tears threatening to fall. "And one more thing," Alicia adds. He looks up. Her voice drops low, gentle, but unbreakable. "This hearing wasn't to destroy you. It was to rebuild the standard you broke." He swallows. "I'm sorry, Ms. Monroe. Truly." Alicia stands, picks up her folder, prepares to leave. Before she walks out, she adds, "Next time you pull someone over, see a person, not a profile." The words land harder than any punishment. She turns and exits. No dramatic slam. No anger. Just truth. And the quiet power of someone who overcame humiliation without becoming what hurt her. Sunlight hits her face as she steps outside the precinct. She breathes deeply, not relief, but resolve. The narrator speaks. Injustice doesn't always wear a uniform. Sometimes, it hides behind one. Alicia walks to her Mercedes, unlocks the door, slips inside. Before driving off, she glances at the precinct one last time. Not to remember the humiliation, but to remember the transformation. To remember the work ahead. To remember that justice is not a moment, but a movement. If you believe in justice, truth, and accountability, don't just watch, share this story. Subscribe and share for more.